so we got a good one here. It's raining heavy where I'm at, but yeah, what you gonna do? Alright, so we got a vehicle here with a 3ZZ Toyota Corolla with a hard start, and customer asked me to just take a look at it for him to see, you know, if we get his vehicle back up and running, right? So when I started the vehicle up, I was hearing like a bearing noise. So I'm just gonna do some little quick checks to see what's going on, see if it's head gasket issue. Oh snap! You heard how that radiator cap release the compression. Right, so what I'm going to do here is a RFC test. This test is basically to just verify if I get good compression in this engine, or it's not telling me where the compression is going, just tell me if I'm getting good compression. Keep cranking. So this is a compression test using the starter current, right? So this is telling me that if the cylinder or the engine have good compression or not, right? And if I have weak compression in any cylinder, I gotta figure out where it's going, but most likely it's going into the coolant system. That's why you heard the loud noise when I open the radiator cover, right? So let me synchronize the number 1 injector so I'll know based on the firing order what cylinder has a low compression. And let's do a quick check with a bottle of water, right? Basically, if you see fine bubbles in the coolant passageway, like you see now, that means I have hydrocarbon gases leaking into the coolant area, which is go the weakest point. And also you're seeing some little small specks of oil in the bottle too. So that means that most likely this engine head gasket is compromised and they will need a new engine, but or rebuild it, whatever you want to do, right? You're not supposed to be getting no oil mixing in your coolant, right? So I'm gonna just take all the spark plugs real quick, and I'm gonna put my Borescope in here. Yes, this is overkill, but this is what I do, man. You know, just keep pushing and go beyond, right? So I'm gonna put my Borescope in. Wait a minute, these plugs is really rusty. So you can tell that these plugs was exposed to a lot of water or coolant or something like that down in the cylinder for a long time and causing the spark plugs to get real rusty, right? So that's our next indication of, you know, blown head gasket, where the spark plugs is getting fouled up, right? And so as I said, I'm going to hook up my Borescope and go down in the cylinder and take a look and see which cylinder has the... Alright, with the Borescope down in the cylinder, I'm just taking a peek at number 1 cylinder, right, to see the piston, if any, looking for any kind of coolant, any oil, anything like that that can cause the misfire. Also, what you call it, you know, just create any issue. So I'm not seeing anything at this present time. I'm not seeing no coolant. Could be probably how I just started the vehicle. I've saw in the past where I've left cars overnight and put the Borescope in, and then I have noticed that you get a hard start in the morning, and because the coolant was seeping out during the night, right? So I'm gonna check each cylinder to see what I'm getting. And matter of fact, let me just pull it up so y'all can see what I see. All right, so this is cylinder number 1, right? You seeing all the smoke basically because the vehicle was running, right? I'm not seeing anything. It's basically dry in number 1, right? It's kind of, yeah, it is dry. Let's try number 2. All right, so let's hold on real quick. Go on number 2 cylinder. Let's see. Hold on real quick. Right, so in you see the rust. Hold on. Number 2 is semi-wet, right? Most likely that is the coolant seeping into number 2 cylinder, right? And the firing order is 1342, as I said. Number 3 also is wet. So that's the coolant that's leaking in there also. So this engine, as I said, needs to be rebuilt, head gasket change, or engine based on mileage. The customer might choose to replace it all together, but it's their call. This is cylinder number 4 here. Hold on, man. I got a trick. I'm gonna try something, right? You see how wet everything is in here? That's the valves. Let me see what else. Right, I'm not seeing no signs of water in number 4, number 1, but I'm seeing the piston, top of the piston is really wet in number 2 and 3 especially. Yeah, so I have another trick I'm gonna try, right? While the Borescope is in the engine, down in the cylinder, I'm gonna pressure up with my radiator pressure tester and take a look and see if I see any other coolant seeping into the cylinder, right? So just give me a minute, let me just get some help from my boy right here. And while I'm pressuring up, I'm going down in the cylinder and take a look at the cylinder walls and see if I'm seeing any coolant or whatever they got in here seeping in, right? So hold on real quick, let me just get in. Right, so hold on, let me get pressure up. It's kind of hard to see. Oh, there it is. Right, so you see in the coolant dripping down the cylinder, so that basically is water, right? And that seeping through the head gasket. So that is between the deck of the block and the surface of the head, right? So that head gasket is compromised. So I'm going to check the number 3 and the rest of the cylinders. As I said, man, I already know that this engine has to be replaced, but as I said, man, I just like to go beyond, right? And this is fun for me. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This is where I practice on my skill, my diagnosing skills, so I get better at what I do, right? So of course, my engine cannot compress water, so that's probably where you sound like when start, you get like a bearing noise coming out from the engine, because the engine is getting like having issues to compress that water, and once it compressed, that's it, right? So yeah, this job is finished. As I said, this car has been diagnosed as a failed head gasket. What I'm gonna do next, probably I'm gonna hook up my scope and the scope and do a relative compression, and probably use my pulse sensor that I got from my boy Joe and hook it up to the radiator and do some cranking test. So this is another method that I use to help diagnose these vehicles. This is using pressure analysis, right? So I showed you everything from the cheapest way, which is a bottle of water, to the most advanced stuff that's on the market right now that you can use to help diagnose head gasket issues, right? So you don't have to follow me, but if you do, I appreciate it, right? As I said, I hope you like, share, subscribe, comment. Until next time, take it easy, be safe out there, and make sure and take care of your vehicle.